Hi everybody, welcome to Control All Compete. Today we're lucky enough to be joined by Kairo. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad, mate, not too bad. Just flew straight into Germany to be with you.
I know.
Aye.
Are you going to fly back afterwards?
I wish, no, back home now. I can actually relax for the rest of the year.
Do you know what, you're doing great, mate. Tell me, okay, so you're a caster, right?
Yeah.
We describe yourself what?
I'm probably just a caster, mate. I don't know, it's been an interesting journey, to be honest. It started off as like a bit of a laugh amongst friends, and then suddenly I'm flying to Germany. I've flew to Madrid, London, the full shebang. It's been a wild ride, to be honest.
So what did you do before you were famous in Kairo?
I don't know. I mean, I'm still doing it. I work as a cloud development engineer, working in like middleware and stuff like that. And then my side hustle is working.
I can see your face drain there.
I know. It's a bit, it is what it is, but still working full time as well as doing esports sort of stuff.
How are you finding that balance then?
I'll be honest, mate, pretty tough. Pretty tough. It's been a pretty full on year, to be honest. But this is the year to do it, right? Because like we've got this, we've been given a break by Riot to actually go and work for them in Berlin in the studio. So I use my personal holidays for my full-time job to actually go and do that. So it's been pretty full on, but we're starting to come towards the end of the year. It's starting to tail off a wee bit. So this is the time to then maybe go and relax a little bit. But as my friends keep telling me, I need to get pushing out content so I can keep growing. So
and that's why we've got you today, because of bank holiday, right? So you
exactly.
that as well.
Yeah, mate, that's it. That's basically it. I have to try and use every opportunity that I can to keep trying to move myself on.
So tell me then, like, so what was Kairo like growing up then? So what do you think has got you into casting? I know you've seen him doing it as a friend, but you must have had something about you that wanted to kind of get involved in casting.
I guess like maybe not even casting. I just wanted to be involved in competition, if I'm being honest, because when I grew up, I played football from like when I was like 3 till I was about 19, and then as well as that, I also did like swimming. I think I did one swimming meet and never did it again.
Oh, I think we say one swim.
Aye,
just on one swim.
Aye, that was it. But no, we just did. So I've just been involved in that, and then when I got my apprenticeship when I was 17, they sent me to Glasgow Caledonian Uni, and they had like an esports society there, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you remember it. Oh, what was it called? It was like an esports competition, a UK one.
For what game was it?
Just for Rainbow Six, but it was like Null.
Yeah.
I used to try and compete in that and try and.
So Rainbow, that was your first jam?
Yeah, that was my big one. Yeah, that was the first one, and then. I just kind of moved on from there. Obviously, wasn't good enough to be a player, so tried casting during COVID as a laugh, and somehow ended up just continuing on.
Yeah, good. What do you think of state of Rainbow now? Then do you still follow it? Would you move if they said if you know?
No,
Ubisoft said
I'm too locked in with Valorant, to be honest. With Rainbow Six, it was an interesting one because I never got to where I wanted to go, and then Blast took over the full circuit, and they blew up the whole tier 2 system where I was kind of at, and I was never really able to grow into it. I never really got the momentum started. Whereas with Valorant, it feels as if once I got a little bit of momentum, I just continued on, and it never really stopped, to be honest.
But the momentum, I mean, that's you pushing it as well,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, obviously I first met you. Was it Cell 4? You were doing Valorant there with Hazza. Is Hazza here today?
No, he's not. Usually he's like my shadow, or I'm his shadow.
Tell me about Hazza, because we've got to mention Hazza.
Yeah,
well,
of course. Yeah, so Hazza works alongside me as my co-caster, as my duo. Me and him, it was funnily enough, Cell 4 was the first time Hazza and I, well, it's technically the second time, but the first time Hazza and I had really worked together on a long-term project. And that was the event that me and him cemented ourselves as like, well, we'll try and do this together then. And like, we went to a Celtic game before the Cell 4 finals, we had hung out, we just kind of bonded straight away, and it felt really natural. And then from there, we went from strength to strength, went and did an Epic LAN, and then that led us into like the kind of tier 2 circuit, and then from tier 2 onwards into like.
You say led us into, right? These things don't just happen. So how did you manage to then be using what you had to get where you'd got then? So if anyone's listening and says, I want to do that, like what was the journey like? Like how did you manage to?
So we kind of did it all ourselves. We pushed. There was certain times where we'd have blockers, and then we'd have to go and push ourselves out. I mean, I'm not so in touch with like the lower tiers of Valorant anymore, but
you know, mate.
that sounds really bad. I don't mean it in that sense.
Not at all.
But I meant more like in the tier 3 circuits. Like I know those there's guys, like if you wanted to specifically do Valorant, there's people who do the VUKC. It's a Twitter account. And then there's a project for the China broadcast. As well, that they get a load of people in. I can't remember what the China one's called, but it's grown a bit at arms and legs. I know like a lot of the big co-streamers and stuff watch that on their streams, so it's getting decent viewership.
But just jump on that. Am I right in saying that China, in a sense, just opened the floodgates for Olympic Games?
In the past year or two, it's kind of started to really open up. But there's no like English streams, so that's where that project would come in and kind of cover that. So it is.
Right, that's cool, man. And so then so tell me about like Berlin and like, is it...
Oh, God, man, it's been like a whirlwind, to be honest. Like I've been doing it all this year, but I don't, like, I keep saying, I need to take time to settle in and process everything that we've been through, but I don't even know, like, if I necessarily have, because you work so hard for, like, what, I think it's been the best part of 3 or 4 years. Like, can't remember when Cell 4 was. When was that? Like...
about 3 years ago now?
Yeah, like, like, you work so hard to get to the promised land, right, to Berlin. And when you get out there, it's like you're just in and out, constantly working, looking at prep, blah, 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 like looking at the teams, looking at stats. And then when you get there, it's like you go and just do the job and then you don't think about it, and then you come out of it and you're like, oh my God, like I've actually just been to Berlin, I've been and done what I've wanted to do. And it's like, it's an interesting experience. It's everything I wanted and more, but at the same time, like you get a look behind the curtain, you realise like this was always achievable, you know. So it's an interesting problem.
Because I've been, my wife and I like both like Valorant, so I've been checking out your streams whenever you've been casting, right? And I think you've definitely come into your own with it as well. Do you feel like you're more confident being who you are now?
100%. Like,
because it's always tricky being Scottish and talking about
that's it, mate. Like the amount of times that we would like I'll be casting and stuff like that, and I'll come out the game, we'll go into like Reddit or the big forum channel on Valorant is VLR, and there'll be like threads being like, "I'll get rid of this caster, we can't understand them," and then people will be like commenting, there'll be arguments being like, "I can understand them fine, I don't know what your problem is." So it's quite funny to always see that.
Do you think Clove's helped you?
I guess in a wee bit. I guess in a weird way, yeah. I guess people are much more open to the idea of a Scottish accent, I guess. So
Clove, just to clarify, is a character in Valorant?
Yes, Scottish character, yeah. And yeah, they're a smoker, decent enough. Yeah, but a lot of people are like, "Oh, you just need to rip some voice lines when you're casting." I'm like, I don't know about that.
Have you met the person that does the Clove?
I've not met them, but I have had a few messages back and forth. I can't remember their name, but they're...
I know, I'm throwing you the bus there.
No, you're fine. No, they're a lovely person. They are a lovely person, and really interacting with the community when they do as well, which is, I think, like a lot of people appreciate, because some voice actors come into their job and leave, whereas they seem to be a little bit more invested, which is nice.
It seems like because of social media and TikTok now, the voice actors are maybe they have been, but they're much more prominent.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and I think that's the nice thing, because it adds to the community rather than just be like, "Oh, here's your character, I'm away." I think the guy who does Omen's also the voice actor for Megatron as well,
really?
which is really interesting.
From what, the new films, yeah?
I don't know if it's necessarily new. I don't know if it's the new films. I don't know what it is, but he's definitely...
Omen's my new character now.
Yeah, I know, mate. It's awesome, isn't it?
That's so cool. Yeah, I suppose that's for your job as a voice actor, and you'll get different gigs.
Yeah, exactly, mate. I mean, some folk are mad when you see, like, I mean, I know I'm a bit of a nerd in terms of watching anime and stuff like that, but you see some of the jobs that some anime like voice actors have got, and you're like, how have you moved all through that, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
So tell me then, who's your character? Who's your main?
Who's my main? Oh, God. We literally just did a quickfire round with the socials content, and I can't even remember who I said. I think I said Omen, because there's more ability to outplay, but I think like most of the time I end up just filling for teams because I can play everything, you know, or I think I can play everything.
And are you better than Hazza?
I wish. No, Hazza. Hazza's much higher rank than me, so he's like, I think he was like peak immortal, and I think I'm only like peak diamond, so that sums that up.
And so what I'm interested though, so see when you're seeing the teams playing that, how much of it do you get to see the teams practice, and
We don't get to see. You don't really necessarily get to see much of the team's practice. It's just straight in. Like we just have to pull from like the whispers from the grapevine. To be honest, we're lucky enough that a lot of people seem to like us and chat to us when we're kicking around the studio. So that's nice enough.
Is it a good atmosphere?
Oh, I think there's always a good atmosphere. Everybody's chatting. Like the way the studio's set up is the casters are like. Are we up, not in the rafters, but in terms of the studio, we're in the rafters, and we kind of get kept away from everything, if that makes sense. But we do have the team rooms beside us, and like for instance, like Fnatic, we know the coaches, so they always come in and just chat to us. So it's quite fun, in that aspect to kind of get that insight from people who are much more knowledgeable about the game than us.
And how do you find that then? You're talking about the insight. You do a lot of kind of your notes. So what's your kind of prep for doing the casting then? Like if you know competitions are coming up, do you do a lot into the players or rivalries or?
I mean, it depends, right? Because like for instance, if it's in the regular season and we're going out, the schedule's already there, so I can prepare specifically for those matchups rather than for the teams. But this time round, we've been doing playoffs, so it's like the team's trying to qualify for champs, and we have to be a lot more broader with our preparation, because you don't know who's going to go on a run, you don't know who's going to fall out. I mean, for instance, this time round in playoffs, all the big teams like Fnatic and Team Heretics, they've all been knocked out pretty early, which is a massive upset. So you can't just go in and expect like the good teams to perform well. You have to be flexible.
Because you wouldn't know, will you?
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think? Why do you think it's been an upset then? Do you think?
I think it's just been a long year. We're now at the end of the year, and for instance, Fnatic, they had already qualified for champions through their points, so they were just kind of like, we're happy to just. I think we're just happy to kind of test out a couple of things, try out some more stuff, and then at the end of the day, like they were just happy to. I think a bit of relief, because I worked it out. For my own prep, was that Fnatic had played 84 maps by the end of the regular season, compared to one of the other teams who had only played 62, and that was like the equivalent of a full extra stage of competition, which was absolutely mental. Do
you think they'd ever bring subs in? Did they have to? Is the football like sport? Do you think they'd be able to rotate?
Nah, I mean there is the capability to do so. I mean they did it. Team Liquid did it when they were playing in Toronto, but I think it just upsets the flow of the team too much, because it's like, imagine starting a keeper one, like, I mean, you remember for like Boyshood, you'd start the keeper one half and then the other keeper would get a shot the next half, and it just upsets the rhythm and the flow of the game, I think. And people, they always talk about like, coming in cold or can they warm up into the game. Like sometimes you'd rather just have the full five and let it run. I don't know if necessarily subs will ever be viable.
I think it's the best esport, Valorant. I think the Riot have done a cracking job with it.
Yeah, they've done a decent job. I mean, I personally, and controversially, being a Valorant caster, I do always have a soft spot for CS, just because they like the way that they're able, the way that they manage their events and how the crowds interact and stuff like that.
But that's been going for what
30 odd years.
There you go.
Absolute grandfathered esports. So hopefully Valorant can use that blueprint to move through that themselves.
And so you can see the format and the formula of having like maybe that new character out, and they launch it with their finals, and they've got their format. How many characters do you think they'll end up being? Because you look at League of Legends,
I mean that's the problem, right? There's a big discussion about power creep and stuff like that.
What does that explain, power creep?
Power creep is like where you keep making characters to the point where they just become too powerful for the games that you like for the game. So you think of like League of Legends, whenever they release a new character, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is broken as hell."
But they do that to get them to buy it.
Yeah, exactly. But like, if that keeps happening, then you're just gonna end up with like so many powerful characters that it doesn't really work. I mean, Valorant is pretty weird that like it can take like, I mean, I guess League of Legends is somewhat similar, but it can take like small tweaks, and then the next thing you know, like the full thing's like the full meta's changed. So it's interesting, yeah.
And what about the kind of replay system? Why does everybody keep going about that?
Oh man,
Do you think that? Do you think they want? Does anybody want it to happen?
Everybody wants it. Well,
Right.
I mean, I think
The pros.
Yeah, I think the pros, the coaches, and all the casters and stuff like that want it to come
But
because
when after you've died, would you see how you died, or is it at the end of the match they would do? How would
it
that
would be
work?
the end of the match. It would be the end of the match that you would get the replay file and be able to watch it.
Because
But-
Overwatch do that, do they?
Yeah, yeah, it's exactly like that. Overwatch, League of Legends has it, but it's not necessarily for your like Joe Smith who's sitting at home trying to like climb up his rank queues or whatever. It's more for like the reason why coaches and stuff like that want it is because then they can see, oh, what's their reactions to this. We can actually see from their point of view. A lot of like guys who want to get better are like, oh, I love Benji Fishy.
Is that lazy though? Could they do? They could just capture the footage, could they not, and watch it themselves?
I mean, they could, but like you've also got like you wouldn't have access to 100% POV footage like compared to if you had with the replay file. Like you're just kind of watching from an observer's point of view, not like seeing how he's reacting to the map. I guess.
But do you think like Riot and that probably don't want that because it's maybe fine in a LAN setting, but if you're then talking about ping and people are complaining because, you know, when they do watch it back, people might say, "Oh, my crosshair was," you know, so it might not be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily about ping. I think it's more about the how strenuous it will be on like systems and stuff like that. I think it's more to do with a coding aspect and the capabilities.
Because it'd have to be recording it all the time.
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. You'd have to, but it's not even that. It's not even recording it in a sense that with a replay system, it's not recording it in the sense of like you're actually getting raw footage. It's the data that it takes. It will capture the data and then recreate the data in the replay system. So, say for instance, you throw like a smoke, it will record, oh, James recorded a smoke at this point in the map, and it will have like a coordinate on it, and like that can be really difficult. And they released like a little bit of footage on the replay system when it was in development.
So they are working on it?
Oh yeah, like it's meant to be out in the next couple of months. Everyone thinks Champs is going to be the aspect to it, but yeah, like it just wasn't being recreated properly. So it was it seems as if we're finally nearly there. So I'm happy for it.
And you say Champs then, so could you maybe explain to everybody what the scene looks like with Valorant and how that works?
Yeah, exactly. So for those who don't know, we get a kick-off tournament that starts off and it's just a straight playoff bracket. Everybody has to play
Do they
against
still do the beacon tournaments?
Somewhat, and I think like they're not like the way it used to be.
Right.
It used to be like in beacons you'd play in tournaments and you'd get points, but and then eventually if you got so many points, it'd be the top 8 teams that would try and qualify into tier 2. It's kind of somewhat similar in tier 1. We have like tournaments, like for instance, like you'd have your regional leagues, so it'd be like the EMEA league plays, and they send teams to like a Masters event, and then they try and accrue as much points as possible to go to Champs, and then the team with the most points at Champs gets to go to the Champions tournament at the end of the year, and that's the Valorant equivalent to like a Worlds or like a CS Major or something like that, yeah.
And so you've got the Americas, EMEA and Asia, those three.
Pacific.
Pacific.
Pacific and then China as well. That's the 4 leagues.
And who's best and who's got the best players?
I guess I'd be forced to say Pacific because they've won the 2 tournaments this year.
It's been tight.
It's been tight. It's been tight. EMEA is EMEA's been really bad recently, but we're starting to come up beyond the up. But that's the thing about Valorant is the meta changes probably every 3 to 6 months. So what you find is the teams who are on top can fluctuate pretty quickly.
And what do you think of Sentinels in from America? Do you think they've done good for sport? They seem to be the Man United, if I don't like it. Do you think?
I guess like a Man United. I don't want to call them Real Madrid because they've not been as successful as maybe like a...
So a Man United?
Yeah. Sorry, I keep kicking.
So that's me.
But no, they're very well supported. I mean, like that's the thing. They really capitalised on the hype of Valorant, and on top of that, they
Tens and
like with Tens, the fact that everyone really managed to like kind of gravitated towards him and his personality. They did really well to use that to generate fans for the team, and then they also were able to get like someone like Tarek, who's like if anyone knows like from League of Legends, he's like the Kairo of the esport. So yeah, they managed to generate fans from him as well. I think they've got like a really good model. The guy who runs it, I think it's Rob Moore, the guy's name is.
Right.
Like he seems really switched on, and they seem to have a good system running with America and like kind of understanding what social growths and stuff like that they need to get.
Yeah, they're the ones that stuck out to me. Like they were doing things right like that. And was it John? What's his name?
John QT. John QT.
They're all cool.
Yeah, mate, they're all cool. And they've got the cool thing about Sentinels is their merch is really cool as well.
And I don't think promoting their with the gunboard. No, what was it? Their bundle.
Yeah, the bundle. Yeah, they promoted.
I wonder how much they get from that.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you the details of that, but I know they make a good amount of cash because teams also get the pistol bundle that they can punt in games, and then they also get a champions bundle as well at the end of the year.
Okay.
And that champions bundle, like if you're able to attend champs, you get a cut off of how much it is, and they make some amount of dough. I think it was
from my wife buying and stuff.
Exactly, from me as well.
How much did you spend on it?
I think I'm like $2,000 spending on the game, so I get paid by Riot and then give them it straight back. So
do you always check the night market and see what you get?
Literally,
it's a problem, eh?
It's a bad problem. I've got a real bad problem. I actually got to the point where the other day I went into my store and it said, "Oh, thank you for supporting Valorant." I actually had a free slot in the store because I'd bought so much. So.
Really?
It's bad, mate. It's bad. I need to stop. But every time I'm like, I can treat myself a wee bit. I mean, I think I've got like 13 Vandals or something like that. You can only equip one.
Do you know how to be in the beginning of a match and everybody's playing and everyone's wanting to swap guns and that?
Aye, that's annoying. Aye, I don't turn
on. From your drop your gun,
just play the game.
Play the game.
Oh, mate, honest to God, it happens so much. I try not to interact with it at all.
But they've got a good sweet spot with it though, haven't they?
Yeah.
What's your favourite skin then? Do you like the blue gun?
We're not the blue gun, no.
I don't.
That does my head in a wee bit. I always find myself going to the Prelude to Chaos, which is kind of like it's like kind of like demonic in a way, but it's got like a nice guitar riff for when you kill someone. So.
And do you think the pros like because it's got different gun sounds, right? The mechanics are all the same, right? But do you think people like maybe it's preference in just the way it sounds?
I think so. I think like everybody's got their own preference, right? I know that there's been like a trend with some certain pros where what they'll do is they'll actually downgrade the weapon and just use the skin but have the original sounds.
All right, okay.
So I think it's just to not be
overwhelmed.
overwhelmed.
That, don't they? They even cut the shadows and people who probably play it pro probably don't make it doesn't look nice at all.
Exactly. I mean, they play to like the highest 1% they can try and get. There's people that I know who are even nuts when it comes to their mouse and stuff like that. Like, or you've got to have like a high polling rate, but like a low sense and stuff like that to get the most out of it.
What do you use? DPI, like what?
Oh, DPI, I'm 400.
Really? So that's.
I'm
so
really
you just
low.
having to go like that all the time.
Yeah. It's because
you're just holding angles.
I know, literally. But like that came from watching a player in Rainbow Six called Bolo. I bought into his hype, and I even bought his mouse. That's how much of a consumer I am when it comes to that sort of stuff. Bought a Logitech G Pro Lite or something like that. It was, but it was. Yeah, never again.
And what do you think? I mean, what's the range of the players obviously playing in like a high DPI low? Like,
but it could be from.
So would you say that would be actually depending on what position you played in the game? Would be better suited? Like, if you're.
I guess so. I mean, like, it depends on how you think about it. It just depends on your aiming style because. People who are low DPI might prefer to be like more of a movement player in terms of like the crosshair doesn't move but they move.
Yeah, right.
And then you get like people who like if they're like I don't know want to like do the flicks and stuff, they'll have higher DPI so they can react quicker. So depends. They always say it depends if you aim with your arm or if you aim with your wrist.
So I think I'm probably much doing the wrist thing.
Yeah. I think it all comes from like how much desk space you had as a child. You know what I mean? Like I've always had like to be fair like a decent desk space. So I move from the elbow rather than like obviously some people who maybe didn't have enough, they'd move from the wrist because of the mouse pad.
And what games did you play growing up then? How did you get into gaming? In a sense, I know you swam once and.
Yeah, I mean, I've had an interesting. Oh my God, I can't even say it. Interesting growth in gaming, because I started my mum and dad like they bought me like a PlayStation 1, so I went like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. Like playing like Lego Star Wars, like those games. I always remember like a jet ski racing game that was like on the PlayStation 1 or 2. I don't know if you remember that. It had like good tunes on it from what I remember.
There's a lot of good jet ski ones.
Yeah. But then from there, I got a PlayStation 3 because my dad wanted to get a PlayStation 3. He wanted to play.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah, was it?
That's not a bad thing.
It was because I wanted to get an Xbox because your man right there, Master Chief for Halo. I loved Halo. That was like my first real experience of online gaming. That was like the golden era.
Yeah, Halo 2. I think.
I was Halo 3. That Halo 3 was my first one. Then from there, I just followed the Xbox series, and then it wasn't until later on that I actually got a gaming computer, and I never really made the most of it, to be honest. I played a bit of it. Played TF2 what's it called? Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
Played a lot of that, and then played a little bit of like modded zombies. But it wasn't until like I was like 18 that I actually started playing competitive shooters. I think I'd tried my arm at playing Search and Destroy and stuff on COD and Halo, but I never really...
How did you think? Okay, that's funny then. You think about Search and Destroy, it's basically Valorant, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so what did you, back then, I don't think anybody knew that was going to...
No. No chance. I always remember was it Gamescom or E3 when Nade Shot went, there was like the Nade Shot, it was the FaZe versus Optic kind of match and stuff like that, and they tried to push that, but I mean, I never really thought esports would, well, one, I would ever be involved in esports, and two, I would ever be as big as what it is now, you know? I mean, you think back, like in the past like 10, 20 years, it's just blown up.
I know. Have you been invited out to the Esports World Cup then? So what's next on the to-do list then? And obviously you've kind of made your dream in Berlin, right?
Yeah.
You're doing there.
I mean, just to keep working with within Riot's ecosystem, you know, and try and make a Masters event or a Champions. I think that would be the goal. I think like a one that's a lot more achievable for us would just to be out in Berlin permanently, move out there, and kind of be on the product. Because right now we're working as guests, so we only get asked out for like 2 weeks every couple of months, which is nice, it's good, but you obviously want to be there the full time, so that's our next step. But yeah, I'd kind of stick with that.
And what is the full time out there then? So what is everybody doing all 3-6, all year?
Just working on the product. Like so, they a lot of the talent get moved out. The year starts in January, and then it'll be like they'll work for like 2-3 months, and then they have a break for like the Masters events and stuff. Obviously, the people working the Masters events they go, but they just kind of just stick in Berlin. But I think as well, like the fact that there's all the players and the teams out there. The fact that like you get to stay out there and you'd probably be allowed to go out and generate content a lot easier because there is accessibility to these players and to these teams as well.
And you think you should be doing more of that then?
Yeah.
What is it that's stopping you, do you think? Just because you've not usually done it or just getting started with it?
I think as well, like I've got my full-time job that like you got to think like I think I've used every single holiday bar 3 to work out there. So being able to like go and get the content and stuff and getting free time, even just for myself to go and actually be a human being can be quite strict. So it's right now it's been a real juggling act with everything that's been going on.
And do you think then, how would your work feel about you actually then having a kind of social presence as well? Do you think that would impact like your...
I mean, they've never really like spoken to me about it. They know about what I'd get up to and stuff like that, but they've never really like had a chat about like things said in social media and stuff. I think in the contract, like as is any place of employment, it's like, oh, you can't be like talking about this, you can't be talking about politics and get yourself caught off guard. So
you've got to be quite wary of what you're putting
out.
Anyway.
Of course, yeah. I try and stick away from that. I mean, I'm trying to find like a way. I've never been a big social media person. None of my friends back home necessarily are either. So I'm trying to strike that nice balance between everything and trying to improve and all.
None of my mates are on like Facebook or that, to be honest with you either, really. Yeah,
it's the fact that like Facebook versus Twitter and stuff like that, you know, the different, and people can be difficult on those apps. So it's just trying to keep ourselves good.
Yeah, good man. Listen, all the best with it. I think you're brilliant. I love tuning in, hearing you both Hazza as well. It's great. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, mate.